Hello guys, it is nighttime right now, I know, but welcome to today's video. Look what I have. This is Just Friends by Miss Haley Pham. Haley Pham is a content creator. She mostly creates bookish content, but once in a while I would say she creates just like lifestyle content and things like that. And she just came out with a book. This is obviously her book. It just came out officially today, but she is in the middle of doing a book tour. Her first stop on the book tour was in New York City yesterday, and so I actually got this copy last night because I was able to go to that stop on her tour. I cannot tell you how excited I've been for this book. I have been following her journey of writing this book since she announced it a while ago, and so to just have it finally like in my hands, the full finished version of it, I'm just like beyond excited. It follows Blair and Declan, who are childhood best friends. They are inseparable. For years they've just been the closest of friends, and then eventually when they're younger they do start to fall in love and they date each other, but something happens, and I don't think we find out what happens until like later on in the book, but something happens and they stop talking for years. But a family emergency causes Blair to move back to her hometown where Declan still lives, and they start running into each other, and I think we kind of just find out what happened with them in the past, and I'm sure everything kind of just unfolds from there. Okay, we switched locations. I am in the kitchen because I'm putting some fries and chicken tenders in the oven for myself for dinner. I literally could not contain my excitement last night when I got this book, and so I did start reading it on the train ride home from New York, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I feel like the beginning is a little bit slow, but I'm totally okay with that because we're still learning about our main characters and kind of building up their personalities, so I expect it not to be like super quickly paced right away. The book starts off with emotions already high in a good way. Well, in a sad but good way, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna keep reading this tonight and I will update you as soon as I get a little bit more into it. Declan, our male main love interest, has this really cute nickname for her. He keeps calling her Little Bird. I just think that it's so cute because the scene that kind of tells the story of how this nickname came to be was literally adorable. I thought it was so wholesome and innocent, and it was just like, it reminded me of like pure like childhood joy. I had to just pause reading because I just read a sentence. This is a flashback in time, so this is the past, and in this specific scene we're seeing Blair and Declan's first ever date together, which is really cute to see. They're talking and they're asking each other like, when was the first time you knew you liked me more than a friend? Because for the longest time they've just been like this. They've been the best of friends, but there's never really been anything romantic between them. Now they're going out on their first date after they've both kind of opened up and confessed their feelings for each other, and they're on their first date and they're asking each other again, just like, when did you know? Like, what was the moment that you knew you liked me more than a friend? And Blair says, I think the real answer might freak you out, but for the longest time, I didn't believe you'd ever see me in that way. And I also didn't want to risk ruining the friendship. And it just made me think of that Taylor Swift song, Ruin the Friendship, on her newest album, Life of a Showgirl. And I just wanted to tell Blair, always ruin the friendship. This is advice for all of us. We should always ruin the friendship, because it's always worth finding out than never knowing at all. Okay guys, it's the next day and I'm here to give you all the updates that I have. I'm walking to get the book from my bag. I got pretty far into the book. I am now on page 229, which is chapter 20. I don't know if I'm going to read more by the end of the night because I have to make dinner for my husband and I soon because he is going to be on his way back from work soon, and I just want to make sure that he has some food to eat when he gets here. And then after dinner, we are going to be watching Survivor 50. Episode 2 is streaming tonight. I literally cannot wait. My husband and I are such huge Survivor fans, and Survivor season 50 is streaming live right now, so we're gonna be watching episode 2 tonight, and we're so excited for that. All of that to say, I just think I might have a little bit of a busier night, so I don't think I'll be able to read too much more. So, an update on this book. I am really enjoying this book so far, so I will admit the first 80 pages to me was really slow paced. Right now in the story, Blair, who's our main character, is going through a lot of emotions. She's dealing with a lot of grief and sorrow with someone very close in her life who just recently passed away, while at the same time dealing with mixed feelings and confusion towards the boy she's in love with, but refuses to admit it. So it's just really fun to see all of that unfold, and I do think more recently, maybe about halfway through this book, things really started to pick up, for me at least. I just felt like the scenes started getting a little bit more intense. I will say that Haley's writing is really easy to read. She has the kind of writing that is you can just breeze through it, if that makes sense.
Top gun pilots flying with nowhere to be. Don't know you super well, but I think that you might be the same as me. Behave abnormally. Let's let things come out of the woodwork. I give you my best, I tell you all my best lies, yeah.
Hello guys, welcome to the final update that I have for you of Just Friends, because I finished this book. I actually finished this book a little while ago. I finished it probably almost a week ago, and I have just been so busy that I haven't gotten around to filming my final update, my final thoughts and feelings towards this book, so I finally had time today. Okay, I'm gonna take this off because I'm actually really warm. It's really hot out today. I really enjoyed this book overall. It was a little bit slow for me in the beginning. I rated this book a solid 3.5 stars. Hello guys, it is the next day because my camera died while I was trying to film my review yesterday, and so I had to charge it, and that just took a little while, and then I forgot to refilm yesterday. So here we are. Have no fear though, I still have the book here with me and I still remember my thoughts about it, so we're just gonna dive into it like nothing happened. I told you already, this book was a solid 3.5 stars for me. I did enjoy it overall. I do have a few things that I don't want to say they're bad things about the book, and I don't even want to say that I didn't really okay, I'll say these are things that I just didn't really enjoy, if that makes sense, about this book. And then we'll talk about the things I did enjoy about the book. The first thing that I maybe just wasn't the biggest fan of in this book was that I feel like the beginning of it, or maybe the first third of this book, was really slow paced. Here's the thing when I say that though, I don't really know if that was a book problem or if that was a me problem. That very well could have just been my problem. It literally just could have been my attention span or the way I received this book overall. And so yeah, I don't know if that was her writing or if that was just me, but that's just how I felt. I think one of the reasons I might have felt that way also is because this is a contemporary YA romance, and I personally didn't feel the tension between the characters until the second half of the book. I just the tension between them wasn't really there for me. However, it did come into play way more in the second half. Another thing I wasn't the biggest fan of while reading this book is I don't really know how to say or how to word it, because Haley Pham's writing overall I feel was really good. I actually enjoyed her writing style. It was very easy to read, but on the flip side of that, there were some scenes where I felt there was just very awkward writing. For example, I felt like there were a few moments throughout this book where Haley Pham was trying to have a really mature character moment, but the actual scene itself that this writing was for was not really a serious scene at all, and it was kind of just like a goofy, playful, definitely not mature scene. And so to see more mature writing in a scene that I felt like wasn't that deep just felt a little bit awkward. That's not really like a bad thing. I do feel like it was quote unquote more mature writing. It just felt awkwardly placed, if that makes sense. I have to stop saying if that makes sense. I say that so often. I'm sorry. Please try to just ignore me every time I say that. I'm gonna try to stop saying it, but no promises. I feel like those were the main things that I kind of had a problem with, if you will. So let's move on now to the things I did like about this book. I definitely enjoyed this book a lot more than like I didn't like it. I keep seeing people post their reviews about this book and they are like roasting Haley, and I do not get that. To each their own, but I feel like sometimes people are just hating just to hate. I didn't think this book was really bad like some people are trying to say it is, but that's just me. I got sidetracked again. Let's move on to the things I did like about this book. I put the book down because I was tired of holding it. Starting off strong with the things I did like about this book, it is a closed door contemporary young adult romance. I personally prefer those kinds of romances because I really like to focus on the emotional side of relationships rather than like the physical attraction side. I just feel like romance gets lost a lot of times when authors decide to kind of just make their characters physically attracted to each other more than like their feelings towards each other. I actually really enjoyed that this book had no smut in it. I don't even think she had any curse words in this book, which was just really refreshing to see, I feel like, because there's just so many books being written right now that have a lot of stuff in them, whether it's cursing or smut or even like trigger warnings that I'm like, why would you even write about that? And so to see a book written that's just very like pure and innocent and fun was just really encouraging and refreshing for me. I also think I touched on this just like a minute or two ago, but going back to her writing style, I have to say her writing was so incredibly easy to read. It was so easy. And I know that I was complaining earlier a little bit about her writing style in the sense that I just felt like some of her wording choices were a little bit awkwardly placed throughout the book. But on the flip side of that, I think I genuinely think she had some beautiful writing at the same time. Because truly, I did like read some quotes where I was like, okay, that was really cute. Or where like I had to pause just to like admire the sentence that she wrote. Okay, so here is one example of a quote that I wouldn't say this is really like a beautiful quote in itself, but I feel like it was beautifully written because of just how well she explained this specific emotion. This isn't a spoiler by any means. You can skip it if you want, but I don't think it's a spoiler at all. And this quote specifically is right in the beginning of the book, so I don't feel bad reading it to you. Anyways, this quote is about our main character, Blair, who struggles a lot with anxiety. So this quote is kind of just about that and how she is coping with all the anxious thoughts that she's having in this moment and in this scene. Adrenaline and ancient teenage level angst are still pumping through me. My thoughts won't calm on their own, but I can force them to by demanding they focus on the essentials only. Breathing, a beating heart, obsession and heartbreak won't have room in my body anymore once I start running. And obviously our main character went for a run after this scene to kind of just like calm her thoughts down, which say what you want. I feel like I loved that quote. It really stuck out to me, just the way that she talked about like when you're so anxious, sometimes the only way to calm down your mind and your thoughts and your like pumping heart is to focus on those essential things. Breathing techniques, trying to calm your heart rate. But to do those things, you have to like recognize, okay, I need to take deep breaths. I need to let those breaths out. Okay, my heart is pumping. I need to work on calming it down. And I don't know. I loved how that quote was written. I want to find another example. Oh, I know. Hold on, let me find it. Okay, I found it. Okay, this quote had me feeling feelings. This is Declan talking, who is our male main love interest slash our male main character. And he's talking to our main character, Blair. Here's the quote. "Blair," he pleads, "you are impossibly pretty, and I know I never acted on it, but trust that I always wanted to. You are the only girl whose attention I wanted, before I even knew other girls existed. And even after discovering other girls did, and do in fact exist, the same is true. It's always been you for me." Like, be for real right now. That was really cute. That was really cute. When I read that the first time, I felt giddy. I felt giddy. And I was like, that tension I wasn't feeling, here it is. I love that quote. I think it's absolutely adorable. Another thing that I feel like I've actually seen people complaining about online is the whole theme of like grief and how Blair was dealing with that throughout the book. And to be honest, I do not get people's complaints about that. I feel like Haley Pham wrote about grief really well. And one of the complaints that I see from other people, or like just things that they're saying, I've seen at least online, is that Blair just mourned throughout the entire book and they just didn't see how it was such a big deal that this person in her life passed away. And I just do not understand where people are getting that kind of thinking from. I feel like the way Haley Pham wrote that whole like subplot of the story was very true to how it is in real life. She showed how grief tends to linger with us for weeks, months, sometimes even years after we feel like we've been healed. And it takes sometimes what feels like forever to truly heal from that hole in our heart. So I feel like she wrote about grief really well. I do not get what people are saying about that. I feel like those are most of my overall thoughts. I probably am not going to be thinking about this book 24/7, and the characters probably won't be stuck in my head consistently permanently, but overall I did enjoy my time reading this. And to be honest, if the result of me reading this was just a good time temporarily, I'm okay with that. I am more than happy with those results. I do feel like her writing has so much, I feel like her writing was good, but I feel like it has so much even more potential than what she showed in this book. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts on this book, Just Friends by Haley Pham. Let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Why did you like it? Or why didn't you like it? And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe, please. I'm trying to hit some more subscribers. If you do, I love you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!